And welcome back, everybody, to the Podcaster Nation. That's right. I said welcome back because I know you were just listening to our stuff and you came back because you wanted to listen to more. Listen, that's a brilliant move, folks. Absolutely fantastic. And you made the right choice because we have a lot more for you. Why do we have a lot more for you? Because this is the podcast that's about podcasters, it's for podcasters, and it's done by podcasters. And wait. Yes, you cracked the code. My guests today are podcasters. We have two. Okay, we are doubling up on you guys. We've only done this once before on this show. So we have a couple podcasters with us today. Absolutely extreme guys. You're going to love it. Folks, this is the place where we all come together to lift each other up. And this is the place where the rising tide truly raises all ships. So let's get sailing and introduce these two fine young gentlemen who have decided to grace us with their presence today. Please welcome into the studio Alan Lazaros and Kevin Palmieri. They are the founders of Next Level University. I'm going to let you tell them all about that, gentlemen. But folks, welcome. How are you guys doing? Thanks for being here.
We're living the dream, buddy. We had the opportunity and the pleasure to speak with you on a different platform. We're super excited to come back and talk about podcasting today. You're a wonderful human, and we love working and chatting with wonderful humans. So nothing but love for you, my friend.
Thank you, man. Back at you.
So my little take on that, Rory, to give you a little love here. First of all, awesome intro.
Thanks.
Secondly, podcasters by podcasters I love it. I love it. So Kevin and I sometimes, we go on a lot of podcasts. We've been in the podcast space a long time. And sometimes I feel like Kevin and I are like those girls at the bar that are saying, hey, watch out for that guy. He's creepy. We have a green, yellow, red system where every time either one of us ever goes on a podcast, we're looking for heart-driven humans that are doing this for the right reasons to really help people. And you were green from me and from him. Super green, actually. And we literally have a chat with Laura. You mentioned Laura, my EA. Mm-hmm. And you said some praises about Laura. And we tell Laura after every show, green, yellow, or red. And you were super green from both Kevin and myself. So we're super grateful to be here.
Well, I appreciate that from both you guys. Thank you very much. That's very high praise from the founders of Next Level University. So, I've been following you guys for a while, even before I had you on the other show. I really do love what you're doing. I love the way you do it. I love the way you put your hearts into it. You guys are just you're truly authentic from head to toe, and so I'm a fan. I am, and I'm really glad that I have you guys on here today. So, you both have great stories. So before we get into everything else, why don't you guys give everybody an idea of, who you are, what's Next Level University about if they don't know already, and, who you are and where you came from.
I'll lead the charge on this. So I was raised by my mom and my grandmother. I did not know my dad. I didn't meet my dad until I was 27. I think that's something you and I talked about in depth when we chatted last time. And we grew up lower middle class, didn't have a lot of money. And I was convinced that I was going to be the guy who stayed in the town that I was born in and never accomplished anything in life. And unfortunately, that kind of became the trend. I decided not to go to college, and I got a job at a local gas station. And then I worked at a hospital cleaning bathrooms and floors overnight. And then I was a truck driver, and then I was a forklift operator, and I did tiling, and I painted, and I did a bunch of stuff. And eventually it got to the place where I essentially was broke, not knowing how I was going to pay my bills and not knowing what I was going to do with my life. And I got lucky and got a job that I had no business in getting, but I went from making like $15 an hour doing labor construction to anywhere from $60 to $120 an hour in this new job. I'm convinced I am now successful, and all the problems that I have put off are going to just fade away and dissolve. Unfortunately, that is not what happened. So when I was 25, from the outside looking in, I was successful as you could be. I had this great job. My girlfriend at the time was a model. I had a sports car. I was competing in a bodybuilding show, so I was quite literally in the best shape I will ever be in. Great friends, new apartment, all this stuff. But internally, I was absolutely miserable. Girlfriend left me and said, hey, you're kind of a shell of the man I fell in love with. I don't believe you're the man who can support me in my aspirations. Unfortunately, she was correct. But I convinced myself that if I just went and made more money, there's something about the six-figure mark. Well, when you cross six figures, everything's supposed to work itself out. So I convinced myself that if I made six figures, that would be it for me. So I proceeded to spend the next year just grinding my face off. I spent 10 months living on the road because my job required a lot of travel. And got to the end of that year, I opened my final pay stub. Here we go. Let's feel the good feels. And I made $100,000 at 26 with no college degree. But internally, nothing changed. And I remember thinking, Rory, for most of my life, I have lived unconsciously. The opposite of unconscious is hyperconscious. So I did what any young man would do. I started a podcast called the Hyperconscious Podcast. And that became my baby. And I fell in love with this podcast as I started to fall out of love with my job. But as you know, in the beginning, there's not a line out the door of people saying, Rory, this is a great idea. You got a great voice, brother. How much money do you need to make this dream come true? That was not happening. So I had to keep going to this job that I hated, and I was getting more depressed, and I was getting more anxious, and I was getting homesick before I left, and I couldn't hold down relationships, and it was just I was kind of spiraling, unfortunately. And I start calling out of work, leaving the job sites early, showing up late, and just not a model employee. And all of that led to me waking up one morning, sliding to the edge of a hotel bed because I was traveling that week. And the best way to explain it is there was 10 televisions on in my head at the same time, and every single one was on a different station. And one is saying, you're stuck here forever. You got lucky to get this job. You're never going to get lucky like that again. If you ever left, what would your friends say? A lot of significance tied up in making a boatload of money. What would your family say? I am at this point the most successful person in my family ever. And then the loudest one was, do you really think you're going to be a podcaster? That does not seem like a very reliable plan B. Probably plan C. I already used all my other plans up at this point. So it was in that moment where I thought to myself, well, if I was just to take my life, I would take all of my problems with me. And here's the interesting thing about the story. I reached out to someone who I felt safe reaching out to, who I thought would give me a good perspective, and that was Alan. So it's very interesting how this whole story is intertwined. He gave me some really good advice, really good perspective, and I ended up not making the decision that I thought I was going to that day. I stayed at that job for a couple more months, and then I quit. And then Alan and I partnered up together, and we said, all right, we're going to do this podcast thing together. And I'll let Alan tell his story, and then we can connect how we went from there to where we are today, because that's kind of where our paths re-met.
Yeah, 100%. Love that, man.
Well done, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm trying to think of where I can intertwine mine. I'll give the shortest possible version. So I'm 36 now. Everything's numbers for me. So I'm 36 now. In 1991, I was 3. My birth father was 28, died suddenly in a car accident. My mom was 31, my sister was 6. And so it was more devastating for my mom and my sister than me. In some ways, because obviously they knew him. I was just a little blob. And so not an easy start. And one of the things Kevin and I connect on is we both kind of grew up without fathers. We used to spend every Father's Day together. Now we actually have a charity called the Next Level Hope Foundation. I actually think he has the shirt on.
I do have the shirt on underneath here. Yeah.
We recorded earlier. He put something on for this. But we host events every Father's Day now for boys without fathers, kids of single parents. But anyways, so tough start. I had a stepfather from age 3 to 14. So my birth father was John McCorkle. It was Jim, Joe, John, Jane, Joan, Jeanette, born and raised in Massachusetts. I was as well. Yeah, 6 kids, Irish Catholic family, and big Irish Catholic family. And when the McCorkle family went through that tragedy of my dad's death, my stepfather came into the picture, and we kind of didn't associate with them much more because we were trying to be the Lazaroses, quote unquote. And for anyone who has Greek heritage, Lazarus is a very Greek last name, and they look at me and they go, Lazarus? Because blonde hair, blue-eyed Ken dolls don't typically come up with, not a hair on me, Rory, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, I took his last name around age 7, and then he left my family at age 14. I playfully refer to that as boats and BS, that time from 3 to 14. This is the 90s. He worked for a company called AGFA, AGFA. They did hospital computers during the dot-com bubble in the 90s. And the 90s were wild economic boom times in the U.S. Mm-hmm. So boats, ski trips, friends, all millionaires, own golf courses, the whole thing. Yacht, and mom drove a BMW. He left my family at 14, took his entire extended family with him. To this day, I've never seen or spoken to a single one of them since. Same year, hardest year of my life, did not understand this at the time. my mom gets in a fight with my Aunt Sandy, actually about my stepdad. We get ostracized from my mom's side of the family. Same year, sister moves out. And I go from boats and ski trips and Dreamcast and Xbox to now I get free lunch at school because our income is so low. We don't have cable. My mom trades in her BMW for a little Honda Civic. I go from I hope I get into my dream college to I don't even know if I'm going to be able to go because it was $50,000 a year, WPI, kind of like a mini MIT in Massachusetts. And it was just bad. Not a good year for me. Bootstrap my whole way through high school, get all the scholarships and financial aid I can get my hands on. I get straight A's through all of high school. I get the President's Award signed by George W. Bush, signed behind me. There's a letter and an award. And I did computer engineering, master's in business, off to the races. So I did preschool, kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, corporate. That was the traditional American path to the American dream. And I achieved that. I made a boatload of money in corporate, and I was used to being broke in high school and college after my stepdad left, so I didn't need much. And so my expenses were super low, so I had a bunch of money in a Vanguard account. I picked tech companies that I knew would win. I say no in quotes because obviously no one knows, but I could pick them. And then I get in my car accident. I'm 26. My dad died in a car at 28. My fault, head-on collision. No one's killed, fortunately, because this was not a fender bender. 30 miles an hour, head-on collision, not good. Lift-kitted pickup truck. Me and my little cousin, we were okay. The airbags did deploy. Volkswagen, thank you so much. Safest car ever. But that's when I had the second chance my dad never got. That's when I found personal development, and that's when I created a little company called Alan Lazaros LLC, what you'll never learn in school but desperately need to know. And I think in some ways that's kind of what Next Level University still is. As a matter of fact, his tagline for the Hyperconscious podcast was change the way you think, change the way you act, and you can change the way you live. Mine was what you'll never learn in school but desperately need to know. And Next Level University is very much the love child of those two, for sure. And so that was 10 years ago. Kevin and I partnered up about 8 years ago, and we've been podcasting since March of 2017. And now we have an 18-person team. We work with 108 podcasters and business owners, so this is quite literally what we do every single day. And I mean every day because I haven't taken a day off in basically 10 years. I say that tongue-in-cheek, but it's kind of true. By design, by choice. And we help podcasters build brands and build businesses underneath a mission and a message. And it's really atrociously difficult to do. But it's wildly meaningful work. And if you can do it, I'm telling you, you can really make some change in the world.
Well
Love
said.
it. Yeah, absolutely love it. I love what you do at Next Level University. I really, really was a fan of the Father's Day project too that you guys put together. And it's funny, having you both on right now. It's just sort of occurring to me. None of us actually had the father that we needed to have, and maybe that's why we get along.
I would say that's probably true.
Yes, I would agree.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Could be one of those things. But I love that. Can you tell everybody just a little bit more about the Father's Day Project? Because I really thought that was incredible. I think people should hear about that, on more than just your social media. It's like, let's talk about that at least for a minute.
Well, as Alan said, we used to spend Father's Day together fishing. So on a day that was sad for us, all of our other friends were out spending time with their families. We would just hang out, go fishing, and just catch up. And eventually it got to the place where we said, all right, we're already doing this. There's probably a lot of kids out there who also struggle on Father's Day. And there's probably also a lot of parents who struggle on Father's Day. So we went to a local YMCA and we rented out the gym and we tried to host this event where kids could come and they could play sports with us. And we were doing face painting and we were doing arts and crafts and we ordered pizza and all that. And it's kind of grown from there where we actually, this year, we partnered with a YMCA in Worcester, Massachusetts, a town close to where Alan and I both grew up. So yeah, it's something that's near and dear to our hearts because there's a lot of kids out there who might have a sad day that we might be able to help them make a little bit happier. And obviously that's a main focus for us. And that helped us get through. It really helped us get through that, having somebody that we could spend that time with. And we want to be the positive male role models that we never had. Started out with kids of, it was kids without fathers. That's kind of how it started out. And then we said, well, I feel like we're missing a lot of opportunity to help all sorts of different kids. So we said, look, if you're a single parent and you have kids, just come join and we'll make a sad day a little bit happier, hopefully.
We also found that, and this was true in my household as well, is the holidays would be particularly sad after my stepdad left. And honestly, in the early days too, after my dad's death. And so, because the holidays are about family. And Kevin and I, obviously, that's one thing that's very clear at this stage, at 36. Like, we didn't have a normal family. We didn't have the, like, sit down and have dinner together type of shit, pardon my French. And a lot of people do. A lot of people have the little family unit and, you know, that whole thing. And him and I, you know, normal was never going to be normal for us. And so we have a holiday event now too. So we do 2 events a year, once during the holidays and then once during Father's Day. And the YMCA is the partner in that. And it's actually the only time Kevin and I see each other in person at this stage. Yeah. And we play some sports together and it's actually a lot of fun. But the role model piece, I'm actually going to the lake this weekend with Emilia's family. Her parents have a place in Western Mass that's really beautiful. And there's a young man named Dante. He's 14 years old. And her dad said to Emilia, hey, you know, we invited them because we really want Dante to get around some positive people. And so I actually got fishing poles ready. And I'm going to work most of the weekend, quite frankly. But I'm going to catch some bass, hopefully, too. And, you know, maybe drop some wisdom on Dante.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Absolutely love that, you guys. I love the program. Love what you're doing. Love why you're doing it. You know, it's a great cause, and it's a great way to flip the script, you know, on something that's awful. So, all right, let's move into something else here. This is my show, so I get to ask what I want. And so now, Alan, I've seen you and this lady that you're with, right, on Facebook all the time. You're always in the gym, working out, so on and so forth. Are you guys married now, or getting married, or what's the story there?
Yeah, I love it. It's
Get ready, Kevin.
Yeah, you know it. So Emilia and I are playing the long game. It's already in the works. We have a 10-year roadmap. We actually have a 60-year roadmap. We're weirdos. And I'm not joking. And yeah, we are in the process. So I told Emilia that I would not propose until I was completely debt-free. And I still have a little bit left. Just a little bit. Kevin and I overextended for a minute there. And our income to debt ratio is very healthy. Okay. So I used to, you know, listen, we're not struggling. We're good. But I told her I don't want to propose until I'm completely debt free. I will not be a net negative in anything. And so it's all in the works. I've already got some stuff going on here, Rory, that I can't say publicly. I told her, I said, I'm a hopeless romantic. You're not going to know when it's coming, but it's coming. And, I mean, it took me 3 months to even ask her to be with me. You know, Facebook official Rory. So I played the long game with her from the get. And, but yeah, we're on our way.
That's quite a story. I mean, I don't really believe most of it, but it's quite a story. And that's excellent. All right, Kevin, how about you, man? You're kind of close-lipped about this thing.
About what? I've been married since August of 2022.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yep. I'm deeply in love. My wife paid the bills for me back in 2018, 2019 2019 when I couldn't afford to. When we moved in together, she would literally pay the rent. And in 2019, I was so broke I could not afford to buy her Christmas presents. One of the hardest moments I've ever experienced as a grown man. But when they say ride or die, my wife is a ride or die for sure. She believed in me long before I believed in myself. So yeah, I'm very, very blessed to have someone like her. She's not nearly in the public eye as much as I am, obviously, but she's a little more private than I am.
Awesome. I appreciate hearing that. Now you're probably going, why is this guy asking me these questions, right?
Yes, very much so.
We know it's from a genuine place, but a lot of people ask that shit from the wrong place. We know you're not.
Not even a little.
Yeah.
It has, since I've gotten to know you guys, obviously, and, you know, we have that in common with our fathers. And then I saw you do the Father's Day thing, you know, online, a big supporter of it. And if it's uncomfortable, you do not have to answer the question. But I'm curious, you know, because I know how I approached it. When I had that horrible thing, I wanted to go out and make up for it. I wanted to be a dad. It was one of the things I wanted to do more than anything else in the whole world. I'm curious what your thoughts are on that. Are you anxious to become dads? Is it not something that you want to do? And, you know, sometimes you get a little gun shy about it because it's like, hey, I saw how it went wrong and I'm not really in a hurry to be a dad type thing. Curious about what your thoughts are.
No, for me. I am trying to be very honest with myself about what this journey will take of me.
Yeah.
And I just don't think I could be the type of dad that I would aspire to be and do this at the same time.
Yeah.
Will that change? I don't know. I got a vasectomy, so I won't be having any
We
children
didn't have to go
personally.
there.
Well, I mean, I'm happy to share. I'm happy to share. But maybe one day adoption could be a thing. I don't know. I have told my wife we have to be extremely healthy financially, and I have to have more time freedom than I'm going to, and I don't know when I'm going to have that time freedom. So that
Right on.
is the main thought kind of running through my head.
Very honest, brother. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate the real conversation already.
This is the best, yeah.
I have wanted to be since I was young, and Emilia has as well. And I mean, a lot of people at this stage, it's you're not getting any younger. And listen, first of all, Aura says I'm only 30. Okay, I'm 6 years younger. No, the truth is, read the stats, right? Well, it doubles the chances of issues. Listen, it doubles from 0.01% to 0.02%. I'm a math guy. We're good. And also, Emilia and I are unbelievably healthy. We exercise every day, the whole nine. So I'm not concerned about any of that stuff. Her and I have talked about it. Like I said, I wasn't joking when I said we have a 60-year roadmap. I'm genuinely serious about that. It's all mapped out. And again, a lot of people are like, well, what if? Listen, we're gonna roll with the punches. I'm not concerned. I've calculated the probabilities of all this. I'm kind of a weird math guy with this. And so yeah, we're thinking 2 or 3. 2 girls, 1 boy, 1 blue, 1 green. I'm kidding. No, I'm joking. No, but seriously, we are thinking 2 or 3. And quite frankly, to Kevin's point, Rory, Kevin and I tongue-in-cheek playfully said that we haven't taken a day off in 10 years. And for me, I haven't. Since that car accident, I'm not kidding. I've worked every day for 10 years. And sometimes it's an hour a day, sometimes it's 18 hours. And usually it's around 10. But I don't intend on ever taking a day off. Maybe that'll change one day. I don't think that it will. And the truth is, I build myself, my family, and my business every single day. And Emilia and I have 3 businesses between the 2 of us. And we are very weird. And we've been intriguing to people about that. Because she's the same way. She's working right now. I'm certain of it. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm certain she's grinding away. We're here to do all we can with all we have. And so to my point, we wanted to be in a position to wait where we financially have the time freedom and the finances to be able to do this, right? And so she's younger than me. She's 6 years younger. So it's going to be my early 40s and her late 30s. And we're going to shoot for 2 or 3. And we've already talked about it. And so I'm an engineer, and she has designed her entire life since she was 13 years old, including me being in it as well. She had a journal of everything she wanted in a man, minus the Ken doll look. And I checked off every single one of those boxes. And so everything's by design. We're very weird in that. And the whole company, everything we do and don't do is entirely by design, including being here, Rory. Like, Kevin and I would not be here. This is entirely by design. And so we're very grateful. And that's my long-winded answer.
I absolutely love it. There was a reason for all this, other than just me being curious. So, the one thing I love about both your answers is, and it's what I almost expected, to be honest with you, is that you guys are both completely just upfront, honest, and authentic about even something like that. The easy answer is, hey, we're thinking about it, yada yada, and you move on. You both just stepped right up and bared your souls and said, hey, this is who I am. And I wanted to make sure that we got a chance to show that to folks, because I imagine that that's what it's like working with you guys in Next Level University, is that, if you're working with you guys, you get the real thing. You get Kevin, you get Alan, you get the real deal. And I'm impressed by you guys. And I hope that our listeners will take that into account when they're deciding, if they want to go work with you or not. I think it's important.
Rory, thank you for that. And I think that Kevin and I 8 years ago, he doesn't have as much trouble with this as I do, but Rory, I can't talk about like stupid, superfluous stuff. I just, to me, that meaningful conversation we just had, think about how much we thought through our decision making. That's existential stuff right there. And I would be at Thanksgiving or whatever, and just listening to the conversation is painful for me. I want to talk about real things with real people in the real world, and I want to say things that matter to people who care. I can't talk about superfluous stuff. And so I appreciate the deep questions. I've come to realize in hindsight that a lot of people were using that as ammunition against us. I know that you're not, absolutely not. because a lot of times your vulnerability can be used against you, right? It's like, well, why don't you have kids yet? And, you should live the way I think you should live, even though I'm a disaster, right? So Kevin and I have gotten a lot of advice from a lot of people who, quite frankly, are wildly miserable, unfulfilled, unhappy, unhealthy, and unproductive. And so if you sensed any defensiveness, it's nothing against you. It's just him and I realizing we're sick and tired of being mommed and dadded by people who, quite frankly, we're leagues ahead of. And that's me being very honest. Yeah.
Very fair. No, I love it. I absolutely love it. I was serious. The Next Level University is a really cool thing that you guys have put together. And, I'm curious and everybody else is curious. Everybody knows it's, a work of sort of servant leadership on both your parts. You guys really go out there. You put everything on the line. You could very easily, after thousands and thousands of episodes between the two of you, I think you could just go off and say, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to be successful, and that's great. But you spend so much of that time when you're not on, when you're giving up your vacations, helping everybody else. I mean, you guys invited me into your community. I had a chance to be in there for a little bit and kind of see how you interact with everybody. It was really impressive. You take care of everybody that's in there, and it's really neat. So what led to Next Level University, as opposed to anything else you guys could have built? Because, I mean, you're both brilliant guys, right? You're young, you're good looking, you're both working out. You could have done anything. You could have opened a gym. How did you end up getting Next Level University out of the two of you guys?
Rory, when you were thinking brilliant, you were definitely thinking me first, right? It was Kevin and Alan.
I mean, we get the brains in the brawn a little bit right now, but I'm working on
cool. Cool. I appreciate that very much. I think it was so. We went all in on the Hyperconscious podcast. So Alan had a podcast called It wasn't a podcast. Sorry. It was a YouTube channel. There was no RSS feed. We're on a podcast about podcasts. There was no RSS feed. It's not a podcast. I hate to be that guy. I hate to be that guy.
It was going to be.
It was going to be a podcast.
Yeah.
But it was called Conversations Change Lives. Mm-hmm. Alan was my first guest. I was his first guest. So then we partnered up. Okay, cool. We were 450 episodes in or something. And our mentor, now friend, Evan Carmichael, was coaching us. And he said, look, you guys are great, but nobody knows what the hell hyperconscious means. You need to rebrand. And I was like, no way. Not a chance. Hyperconscious is the best name ever of all time. Okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's further along than we are. Maybe there's some credence to this. So we talked about it and we said, well, what do we say all the time? We say that workout was next level, that pizza was next level, all of that. It was all next level. So we said, all right, well, what do we want this to be? Eventually, we'd like this to be an online campus where people can come for health, wealth, life, and love. You can come and become the most well-rounded, successful version of yourself. Next Level University. And I think at the deepest, simplest level, Alan wanted to teach everybody what they needed to know but would never learn in school. I wanted to help everybody level up their self-awareness. Mm-hmm. And it just made sense to go in the direction that we're going. And very honestly, this growth journey has been nothing short of brutal and lonely. And I think we both wanted to create a community that we felt like we would have fit in. Mm-hmm. And that's a community that actually says, join and we will be there for you. That was a big piece of it. And then looking back, before I hand it over to Alan, the reason we do an episode every day is not necessarily because we want to. It's because if we say you can get a little bit better every day, we better be there leading the charge. Mm-hmm. That's just kind of the type of leaders that we aspire to be, or we are, I would say. We want to lead by example, not by ego. And I think that is the through line of NLU in general.
Mm. Well said. The what he said at the end there about ego, the male ego, it's just really, really something that has always bothered Kevin and I. And I'm not sitting here pretending I don't have one. Okay? I do. But there's a difference between having one that's playful and having one that's entirely predicated on deep insecurity that you never let anyone see. So healthy masculinity and vulnerability and talking about real things and not pretending that you have no challenges I just can't. I know people that are a nightmare behind the scenes that act like they are amazing socially. And I just think that that's the opposite of what the world needs right now. I think the world needs real people who talk about real things. And there's something to be said for two men who care deeply about existential stuff. Existentialist is someone who, it's a fancy word for someone who contemplates life. I don't want to just go to work and then come home and then drink a beer and watch a show and have a wife who's miserable. Like, I grew up in an environment that was terrible. And there was some good things for anyone who was in my childhood. There was some good things and some good people. Relax. But some of it was terrible. And I saw miserable human beings, particularly men. And I saw marriages. You don't even like each other, never mind love each other. You guys sleep in separate rooms. You fight constantly. Everyone's drunk. And I just couldn't have it. So I decided at 26 I was going to change the world through example and by being the man that I never had. And I think that that's more of the core of it than anything is Next Level University is a vehicle used to grow ourselves and help other people become the best version of themselves. It's Next Level You, pun intended. Next Level YOU. Not Next Level Kevin, not Next Level Alan, but Next Level You. And our listeners come on a journey with us. And I have 20 clients, 21 actually now, and many leather-bound books also, by the way. No, I have 21 clients right now, and I coach them. One of them's 4 times a week, several twice a week. So I see that we're in their ear every day. And I can see a noticeable difference in their inspiration and motivation just having us in their ear every day. Because when you have your coach in your ear every day, and it's a real person who you actually have gotten to know, watch out, world. I mean, you can change your whole freaking life. I had a dude on a call this week. I kid you not. He was doing Xbox 2 hours a day. He said, brother, my wife hates it. I said, I understand why. Let me crunch the numbers with you. 2 hours a day times 365 days a year is 730 hours a year. That's 91 8-hour shifts. You got better stuff to do, brother. We got to grow up here. He said, I'll be right back. He took the Xbox and threw it in the trash on a call with me. I was like, brother, ship that on over. I'm going to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. I'm joking. I'm joking. But he makes good money, so he doesn't care. But at the end of the day, that one change will change his whole world. And that's what we're about. I quit drinking 6 years ago. What's the one change you can make right now that will change everything? And starting a podcast for your listeners might be yours. And you can do that for someone out in the world. We're global now. I'm grateful. 180 countries. Amazing. Now that I realize no one even knows how many countries there are. There's 195, by the way. That doesn't mean anything to people. But what I do know is that we will never stop becoming the best version of ourselves and helping teach other people how to do the same.
Can I add real quick, Rory? Real quick. So much of this started for us in the beginning, and this is a tangible takeaway for you out there as a podcaster. We realized pretty early on that the majority of our audience in 2017, 2018, 2019 was women. And we were obsessed with learning about our audience. So I used to give my phone number out and I would just do FaceTime calls with our audience. And I would go on and say, tell me about yourself. Where do you work? All that. Like, I want to know all about you. And one of the most common things we saw was most of them were in toxic relationships with men. Mm-hmm. If we actually wanted to help, and like we say, and like everybody says, and if we actually wanted to add value into these humans' lives, we could not be anything like the things that they were running from. That was extra motivational and extra inspirational in the beginning. And long before this was a business and long before we had clients and money, the thing we were focused on was our character. Mm-hmm. I get asked that question all the time. Why didn't you guys make money for the first couple of years? One, I didn't know what I was doing. So that was a big piece of it. Probably at least 50%. But the other thing was we were working on our character and we were having very challenging discussions of we don't talk like that anymore. That's not who we aspire to be. Character over everything. We're not going to take shortcuts. We're not going to have misaligned people on. So that was a really big piece of this whole thing too, is we started trying to serve a community that we just fully didn't understand. Mm-hmm. And the versions of us that we were at the time were not capable enough of serving that community. So that was a really big piece of it too.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. You guys are something, I'm telling you. Now, let me go back just for a minute because you unpacked a lot. And Alan, when you did that little imitation of the over masculine guy, you weren't talking about me, right?
No, mostly Gaston. from Beauty and the Beast. The best epitome of toxic masculinity is Gaston.
It's funny because that's actually the vision I got. Was Gaston
Nice.
from that? Yeah. So
Beautiful.
I was on the Disney podcast.
It was
earlier
you
this morning.
and him. I was on the fence.
See, the truth always comes out with these guys. Listen, thanks for coming on. It's been great talking to you. And, all right. Let's get into this a little bit. No, right. I'm a little confused also because now do either of you guys still have a podcast or are you just in coaching? And pardon my ignorance on that.
So between the two of us, we technically have 4 podcasts.
Okay.
So we have Next Level University.
Right.
So
Which
that's
is a
the
podcast.
daily one.
Right. Gotcha.
Then I have Podcast Growth University, which is a podcast about podcasters
Okay.
and podcasting. Alan has Business Growth University, which is a podcast all about how to grow your business. And he also has a podcast with Emilia, the Conscious Couples podcast. So there's 4 podcasts rolling between the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And again, pardon my ignorance on that because normally I
worries.
research that a whole lot better. But I've caught so much of you guys on Facebook that I ended up having sort of like assumptions and stuff. Like for instance, the one that you do, Alan, with your significant other. I don't know what to call her. Is she a fiance? Is she not a wife? So what do I do
No,
here, bro?
Girlfriend and future wife is what
Okay, so girlfriend,
say.
future
And
wife.
then people say, "Oh, congratulations!" I say, and then I explain the whole thing. I'm excited about it. Yeah, it's great. No,
The
it's
60-year
all
plan.
good. Girlfriend
where I'll go.
works. It's
I
just
thought at first-
unfortunate because girlfriend doesn't give it the weight.
It just doesn't.
So
No,
it
and I'm
doesn't.
sensitive to that. So I asked.
Appreciate
Okay.
you.
So, but I thought that was when I first saw. I thought that was like a Facebook show. You know what I mean? Like a show you were doing on Facebook that was like Facebook Lives and you were covering stuff when I first caught that. And so again, I apologize for not knowing that exactly. Go ahead.
That's important for us to realize because
Right.
one of the things that I will say we are atrociously bad at is branding and marketing. I think we're actually pretty good at sales, but I remember I had one person reach out and say, "Hey, I'd love to hear from her," and I had to explain, "No, these are teaser clips of me, and she has her own too. This is my Facebook." So, but the whole thing is, okay, Alan, people are not connecting the dots. You need to connect the dots better, right? You can't have no one's going to go to the Apple store and be like, what do I get here? So we need to do a much better job, quite frankly. We're only 36 and 35, so it's game time. We got to fix this.
I wasn't trying to criticize you. It's just, old guy. So
No,
No,
it's
no,
good.
no,
It's
that's-
good for us.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
good.
I know
It's
you're
good
not trying to
feedback.
criticize. It's not your responsibility to know our life. It's our responsibility to brand and market ourselves appropriately. And so we're going to get infinitely better based on this conversation. I'm excited.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Glad I could help. All right. So I think I just got red lighted, everybody. So enjoy this episode. Probably the last time they're going to come on, but we're doing what we can today. We'll just juice the most we can out of these guys before they leave. Tell me a little bit about your coaching program. I know you don't want to give away the secret sauce. It's like, hey, if you want to sign up, you get the goods. But if somebody's thinking, hey, I need some coaching, I want to go talk to these guys. I'm really impressed with them as human beings. What are they going to find in your coaching program?
Kev, do you want to go? Because I have a whole diatribe of stuff.
I'm sure you do. Yeah, I am very privileged at this point where I only work with podcasters. So for me, it's about figuring out what are the goals, like what are our actual goals here? Do we want to get better as a podcast? We want to get better as a speaker, better as an interviewer. You want to grow it, you want to scale it, you want to monetize it. That, for me, it all starts with that. And then from there, we help our clients with production and social media stuff and YouTube stuff and all that. So they can really take their time and focus on making money and monetizing and getting better at the craft. But it's very much a one-on-one thing. What do we need to work on with you, Rory? Is it this? Is it this? Is it this? And that is deployed through either bi-weekly calls or monthly calls. And then all of my clients have one-on-one WhatsApp access to me. So I am firing off audio messages every single day to a bunch of people. If you work with me, you're going to get audio messages. It's not just because I want you to hear my voice. It's because that's one of the best ways to master speaking. So yeah, we start with the identity, we break down the habits, and I just want to keep people on track with what their actual goals are, not the goals other people are telling them that they should have are.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. All right, Alan.
Yeah. So we do something called, so I have it written over here, reverse engineering your goals and dreams. And it starts with the dreams. That's the top of the mountain. And then it goes to your goals, which is quarterly goals, top 3 quarterly goals. I do this with every team member, every client. That's 18 team, 21 clients. So dreams, then goals. The dream statement is like a pie in the sky, true north sort of compass. Then it's top 3 quarterly goals. So we have 68 days left in Q3. Rory, I don't know if you knew that. Okay, 68 days to achieve all of your dreams. I'm joking. Okay, then
Thanks for the update.
Yeah, exactly. You're welcome. Dreams, goals, priorities. In other words, what are the 3 things? I always say 1 is too few, 5 is too many. So 3 priorities for me. It's coaching, training, podcasting, and then you have dreams, goals, priorities, metrics. You have 1 metric under each of those: coaching, training, podcasting, each priority. And then you have dreams, goals, priorities, metrics, habits, skills, and identity. So metrics, habits, skills, and identity. Metrics, I have to close my eyes when I do that. I don't know why. Metrics are, what are you tracking? And I always use the joke. I say, imagine Michael Phelps' coach being like, yeah, just swim around, man. Jump in the pool, swim around. I don't want to be unkind, but I'm an engineer. Dumb. Podcasters, that's dumb. Don't wing it. Winging it is dumb. I love you. I appreciate you. I want to see you win. Don't wing it. I'm sick and tired of watching people who are heart-driven, wonderful human beings that the world needs more of, winging it, while I see dinguses with huge egos tracking everything meticulously and making sure they look amazing to everyone. Like, we need to help the heart-driven folk. You got to track it, and you need a coach in your corner to help you do that. Metrics, habits. Every one of my team members and every one of my clients tracks habits every day, including Kev. He's got a hell of a tracker.
Yeah.
And then skills. I've realized recently everyone has 1 primary skill that's most important and then sub-skills. So I'll give you an example. So Steven Spielberg, we've been talking a lot about him. Apparently he has a $5 billion net worth now. Wild. Steven Spielberg, his primary skill is filmmaking, but there's sub-skills. The sub-skills is writing, storytelling, director of photography. Like, there's sub-skills underneath. So my 1 primary skill is effective communication. Whether or not I'm doing that is another question, but that's my primary skill. Coaching, training, podcasting are sub-skills underneath that, and then there's sub-skills underneath that. So everyone has a primary, most important skill. That's like key part of my coaching. If you're not getting better, so Kevin's a very strong communicator. Early on, I was like, brother, you got to be the best in the world at this. You can't be the podcast guy and not communicate effectively. So he is on point these days. I mean, he has thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of reps of effectively communicating intentionally, and then reviewing some of the episodes, realizing he sucks, and then getting better.
Not as many as I need to.
Yeah, same, brother. And then the last one is identity, which is once you have the dreams, goals, priorities, metrics, habits, and skills in alignment, which almost no one does, quite frankly. But once you do, you don't do it. And then it's, okay, trauma, inner work. Because most people know at least where to start or what to do, kinda. They don't take action because they're afraid of success or afraid of judgment or afraid of failure or afraid of embarrassment or afraid of their aunts and uncles on Facebook. I mean, it's been atrociously hard for me to be on Facebook when everyone and their mother is judging they're judging. And I understand that's what humans do. Don't judge a book by its cover. Well, 2 guesses, they do, right? So you better have a decent cover. Otherwise, they won't read the book. And so at the end of the day, most people have deep inner wounds that they are deeply fearful of re-hurting, and it stops them from taking action. And that's why they can't do 2,130 whatever episodes, 42 as of today, where we're putting our heart out on the internet for anyone to hear, including this. Anyone can search this forever. This is online forever, assuming you actually put it up after this conversation. But that's like really hard for people. And for the podcasters out there, you're not alone in that. It is really hard to put your beliefs and your heart out on the internet in a version of you that was 24 or 27 or 32. I mean, Kevin and I have thousands of episodes of old versions of us, and some of them are cringeworthy.
I find that very hard to believe. I mean,
No,
you guys
Rory,
are such pros. Come on.
Most of them. You go back to the early 100s. My God, I for some reason just love screaming into the microphone. That was my jam. Like, let me just blow your eardrums out today. Stupid Kev.
Nice. Listen, I love the transparency. I really do. I knew there was more to it than just podcast coaching. I knew there was more to it than just the mathematics behind it. You guys go everywhere from podcasting to the numbers to doing, inner Is this shadow work type stuff? Like, on the
Identity.
soul?
We call it identity work, but
Yeah,
physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, usually emotional. We all have an inner child that is wildly hurt, some more than others.
sure.
And usually we're all defending against being hurt. So our central nervous system has gotten really good at avoiding things that might bring hurt. So Kev, I'll use him as an example for a second. Kev's getting chopped down now,
Yeah.
which is really good to see because I know I don't like to see him being chopped down, but it also means he's growing taller. It's good for his growth. I've been chopped down my whole life. Kev is now a mirror to other people, and insecure people chop people down. And he's getting, some people attacking him randomly, like, what the hell? And it's good for his growth because, quite frankly, when we get more successful, that's not going to happen less. That's going to happen way more. He has to learn how to develop himself in a way where he's able to be attacked and questioned and have people, be disrespectful and him be able to defend himself respectfully. And that's what we've even tried to do. So, like, you've unintentionally triggered us on here, not in a bad way. We knew your intentions are pure, but I mean, we've been, oh, well, you're 37 without kids.
That's you more than me. I don't
Get
get any of
shit
that.
But you're going to.
Well,
You're
I'm married
going-
and
Oh
I'm
my
not going
goodness,
to,
there
I'll
it
just
is.
drop the vasectomy line. Rory.
Brother, do you know how many
Vasectomy.
people are questioning why you're not having children? There's a lot of people who
Fair. But
Yeah,
I don't,
and-
but I don't care.
I know.
I think we just have different. You've been getting that your whole life. For most of my life, nobody cared enough to care.
Yeah.
So now it's almost
That's
like,
going to change.
Yeah,
that's
fair.
going to
That's
change.
fair.
What
That's fair.
about the people YouTube comments and all that kind of stuff?
Well, somebody today said, Alan, they're like, how much Adderall is that dude in the red shirt on? And Alan was in the red shirt on that episode. And I was like, of all the things you could say, like, that's not the most creative. Like, just do better. If you're going to leave a negative comment, just do better than that. That's weak.
Nice.
So I'm getting better with it. That's the answer.
Nice.
I'm trying to get
Strong
better
word.
at it. Yeah.
Well, that was an attack at me, not at you.
Most of them are, luckily. So it's good. Like, I get to work through it on Alan's behalf, which is good. For now. For now.
All right. Well, I'm going to send you the bill for the therapy session later. Don't worry.
Nice.
It's all good.
Perfect.
I mean, it's my pleasure. But I love what you're bringing up, and I love that you guys are embracing the dealing with the hate and getting chopped down in order to build yourself back up. It's such a huge statement, and for both of you to take that on and say, look, it's part of it. It helps me grow. It's huge because so many times that drives people away immediately. As soon as they get some hate or they get a couple of bad comments, they take it so personally. You guys were on my podcast, Power Man. I started that 6 years ago. If you walk the timeline a little bit and you look at the world politically, socially, and everything else, I got hate daily when I started that podcast. I got 3 death threats on that podcast.
Jeez.
Okay, that's how much people hated what I was doing. So I love that you guys are getting that, and frankly, congratulations on getting the hate because I think it's absolutely fantastic that you're getting hated on. I mean, Adderall's kind of a weak comment. Yeah, I mean, do better.
Yeah, do better.
I
That's
love
not
that.
even creative.
That's all you got?
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
So, but if they're not shooting at you, then
Yeah.
you're not over the target. And
Agreed.
you guys are clearly over the target making a difference, or, the spiritual warfare would not be coming your way. So, congrats.
Thank you, Rory.
That's
Yeah, I
absolutely
appreciate it.
fantastic.
And I couldn't agree more. Like I said, I said, whatever you do, if you're trying to push human progress forward, you are going to get chopped down. The taller you grow, the more people will want to chop you down out of their own insecurity. And honestly, get a life. I mean, if you don't have anything better to do than comment on our YouTube video, it's unfortunate that people actually, if you spent half as much time working on yourself and your own life as you do commenting on this channel, you probably wouldn't be such a petulant keyboard tough guy.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, I think a lot of people say, well, I don't care about the hate and all that stuff. If you're a podcaster and you're out there, it's going to hurt. It is hurting. It is tough. And it is necessary. I think that's the real, I would say, respect. You get my respect when you do something in the world that you stick up for what you believe in and you stand in that and you get the arrows shot at you. Because all of us have the opportunity to go play small. And playing small is not going to change the world. It's not going to it's not going to help people. Imagine a movie where it's an award ceremony and at the end there's a bigger award ceremony. Like, that's not what life's about. Life is about the hero's journey and the heroine's journey for the ladies out there. And at the end of the day, you are going to be just repeatedly shot at when you're on this calling of trying to help better the world. And I remember thinking to myself, why weren't you shooting at me when I was drinking? And, I'm like a better person now by such a significant margin. And I was actually naive enough to think that would make people like me more. And it's atrociously not the case. The more you become as a human being, the better you become physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, the less you will fit in, and the more you will unfortunately be chopped down by insecure people who want significance from bullying you.
Yep. Because you're a threat, guys. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
When you're sitting there and you're drinking and you have nothing going on in your life, it's real easy to let you go. You're not threatening anybody. You're just wasting your life. And when you power up and you start to lead, that's when everybody goes, hey, wait a minute. I don't need to see this. And that's when they come after you. So again, you know what I mean? You weren't getting the hate before because you were not a threat. And you are. You're a threat now to passivity. You're a threat to that easygoing, who gives a darn lifestyle that, so many people in this country want our young people to embody. And you're out there leading by example, which an awful lot of people in this country don't want to see. So congratulations. I love every minute of it. And I love to see you guys embracing that. That's fantastic.
Thank you, Rory. And well said, man. Well
Very
said.
well said.
All right. Now, very often on this show, we talk about podcasting. I want to thank you guys both for everything you've done so far, because you guys have been talking to podcasters in a big way. And I really appreciate that. So let me ask my corny question of you guys as podcasters. Here we go. What is it about doing the podcast, right, that you love the most? And what is it about doing that podcast that you just really hate the most?
Ooh. Love the most. Honestly, in a weird way, I feel like on the podcast, I get to be the most authentic version of myself. Like, there's very little that I will not say here. Almost nothing. Like, it's minuscule what I won't say from a place of vulnerability, whatever. I'm not really worried about it. So yeah, for me, it's that. It energizes me to be able to jump on here and just try to be the most authentic version of myself. So I love that. And this was all a freaking dream come true for me. I was convinced if I could find a way to make this my job, I'd be the most fulfilled human ever of all time, even though I didn't know what fulfillment was at the time. But it worked out nicely. So that's a good piece of it. The bads, the thing I don't like, all the other stuff I have to do to be able to do this. I like sales now, but I never did. And I don't like getting up early and having to do all that stuff. I like it at the end of the day. So I would say some of the inconvenient things that are a requirement in order to do the thing that I love. But I don't know if I really have a specific, it would be this, giving feedback to team members. I hate giving feedback to people when things go wrong. It's not my strong suit. It's something I'm working on.
Awesome. Very honest again, man. I love it.
Of course.
All right, Alan, here we go, man. Open the fire hose. What do you got?
The thing that I love the most, as corny as it would say, corny question, corny answer, it really is the opportunity to make a difference. Because I never had the courage to say this before, but I was in tech. I mean, I could make way more money doing other things. I often joke, I say, you can't help people. I have certain clients. It's like, you can't help your family grow and work on personal development for free. I'm charging for it. I mean, there isn't a harder mountain to climb than bringing personal development to the masses. I told Kev one time, I said, brother, my dream statement is to build the most positively impactful personal development company in history. And I said, Kev, I want you to think of a mission that would be harder than that. And he sat there for a while and he was like, I got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing off the top of my head, no.
And so making a difference is the hardest thing in the world because it's not sexy. Fundamentals, habit tracking, what I've said on this podcast, you're not going to grab a clip of this and it go viral. It's something everyone avoids. Looking in the mirror is something people avoid. They would rather feel good for a moment than actually have a meaningful, wonderful life. And so what I love most about it is making a real difference with real people in the real world. We have real listeners. None of them are bought, like real listeners. Okay? We have a community. You've seen it, Facebook, all that. The thing I hate the most, I hate that I can't be as honest as I want to be. And I'll explain why. There are implications. So I talked about my childhood a little bit earlier, but I didn't give you any details. I kept it high level. I can't tell you the truth about how bad it actually was or why, because some of those truths aren't mine to tell. And I fucking hate it. Because you know what the world needs? They need to know the truth. They need to know what it's really like. I think a lot of people, they live in delusion and they don't understand how hard life really could be and is for some people. And I look like a silver spoon, Ken doll, born on third base, and I'm not allowed to tell the truth about what really happened and what it was really like. And so I do, obviously, in coaching, one-on-one, private, all that kind of stuff. And then it's a layer of it on the podcast. You kept saying, thank you for being honest. The truth is, there's way more. We're more honest than most people, and I'll be honest about that. We are, for sure, especially on a public medium. I mean, this is dangerous stuff to talk about. But we're not as honest as I want to be. And I don't think I ever will be. I'm getting closer and closer and closer to 100%. And I will never stop trying to get closer to that, because I think that that's where transformation happens. All progress starts with telling the fucking truth. And unfortunately, we all want to live in delusion of Santa Claus is real and this is totally a fine and that's not really happening. No, behind closed doors, I don't want to see my parents accurately. I don't want to see that person's actually an alcoholic. I don't want to see how abusive this is. I don't want to see this, and this. The truth is, every bit of your intuition is trying to tell you the truth, and you just keep suppressing it. And that whisper will become a scream. I just hope it isn't too late.
Wow. I always get great answers to that question, but I think you guys set a new record today.
I feel like Alan is definitely angrier about his than I am about mine. And now I know that. I know that now. But it was a great answer. It was a great answer.
Kevin, in the future, a little heads up, would have been really helpful. Thanks a lot.
For me, from that, yeah. Look, I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, Rory. That's the beauty of it.
I really didn't know what to expect bringing you both on, man, but it's been educational. So it's I love it. I love it.
There are worse words than educational. We'll take that.
Yeah, we'll 100%.
Take it. You guys are great, both of you.
That's what we were hoping for, Rory. By the end, I talked to Kevin. I said, by the end, I hope he says that was educational.
You guys are great. This has been phenomenal. I somewhere along, I didn't plan this, just so you guys know. But as soon as I started talking today, I said, you know what? These guys are ready to roll. They're very unique individuals in their own right. I think we can go a different direction with this podcast and really talk directly to podcasters about some things that you guys have dealt with in that role. And, that's the path we came down, and you guys really embraced that and really took it on. I want to thank you both for that. Just for that type of raw honesty, that you've brought today. And you know what, Alan, it's okay to be pissed, man. It's okay to be that incensed and that passionate about what you do. Kevin, it's okay to love everything so much that you're screaming into the mic, man. I mean, that's how you express yourself. And if we don't love podcasting the way that we do, what the hell are we doing? Mm-hmm. Why are we here? And why are we talking to everybody else? So I love that you guys wear that stuff on your sleeve. I really do. So now, to go back to our little traditional roots, final question of the day. We'll go back to a little, nice, neat, we'll put a little bow on it. We'll tie it up nice. What's your best piece of advice for podcasters who are not quite where you are in your journey yet?
It's going to be off the cut. It's going to be different. It's going to be different. You're never going to be where we are in the journey, because even where I am in the journey is not where you think I am in the journey. Yeah, we made it to a certain level and we're quote unquote successful, but it has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. If you focus more on, and Alan's going to love this answer, if you focus more on who you become as a podcaster, all the accumulations you have along the way are just extra benefits. You're going to care way more about who you become in this journey than any of the things you accomplish. So I would say focus on that. Focus on you, and everything else is kind of gravy. And Alan taught me that, so that's why I said he would love that answer.
My answer would be similar. Everything you see in terms of success on the outside is a byproduct of something far greater or something far deeper. Unless someone lied, steal, cheat, perception, status, like there are some people who are just straight snakes. Seriously. Especially in podcasting. Whoa. But assuming you did it authentically and sincerely, and you had a genuine interest to actually help people, which is obviously the case if you're listening to Rory's show, in my opinion, law of attraction type stuff, someone would have turned this off already if they were just looking for the quick fix. But if you have a sincere interest to succeed at the level we've succeeded at, and I never would have had the courage to say this in the past, we're coming up on our first $100,000 month this month. I don't want it to come off braggy, but I have to learn how to be as tall of a tree as we actually are. And in podcast land, that is not a thing. I mean, there's the Joe Rogans and the Mel Robbins, and there's some people that make good money in podcasting, but that's not the majority. Statistically speaking, that's a 1% of 1% of 1% of 1% thing. And I'm very, very grateful. That said, what's going to help you is the truth of this, which is one of the main reasons why Kevin and I got here. It's not sexy. It's not fun. It's not going to sound good. We worked our faces off. I'm talking stupidly to our detriment. You shouldn't do it. Kevin will never get pieces of himself back type of work. That's what he says. I actually think this is what I want to do and what I want to be, and I don't ever want to take a day off. I never really have. Unless I was drinking, in which case that's a different story, and that's why I quit. But there's two of us, and we just really do work. He went away this past weekend. He's at a bachelor party. I noticed. It was the first weekend he's been away in, a year or something?
Long time.
It's been a long time. And he was not available. We have an 18-person team. We have 18 departments. We have a charity. And we have 4 podcasts between the two of us. One of them is an episode every single day. And we have 108 podcasters and business owners that we work with. We are not trying to be a small mom and pop podcast. We are trying to build something that is a legacy that can last through the ages. And we're trying to build a real company that snowballs on itself and can change the world in its own unique way. And when Kev was gone, I had the moment of our future's taking a big hit here. And that is just a mathematical fact. You can hate me for it if you want, but it's just facts. And Kevin and I have had tough conversations of, brother, I'm going to be doing this for my entire life, and I know you're going to want Sundays off, and I know your wife wants you to take Sundays off, so we might have to talk equity. Because at the end of the day, me and Emilia are hardcore serial entrepreneurs, and we will work every day pretty much for the rest of our lives. Sometimes it'll be an hour a day, sometimes it'll be 18 hours a day, but we're Michael Phelps level on this. And he spent 5 years in a pool every day, no birthdays, no Christmas, no holidays. That excites me. That makes other people scared. That excites me. Like, I don't want to be at Thanksgiving dinner. I will be, and I love you guys, but I would rather be practicing my craft. That's who I am. And so if Michael Phelps didn't do that, he wouldn't have 28 Olympic medals and 23 gold. And I do want to live a life that's Olympic level. And if you are out there right now and you don't want that, that's okay. If you want level 5 success, you need level 5 commitment. If you want level 10 success, you need level 10 commitment. And you better make that decision right now. And you better start sacrificing, because despite what the internet wants to tell you, it is atrociously bad. And it's necessary.
Wow, man. I love it. Both you guys. I mean, you ask you guys to open up a little bit, and you get it. You get the real thing. And like I said, if you guys are out there and you're looking for coaching and you're working with these guys with Next Level You, this is what you're going to get, is the absolute, real, unadulterated thing. And so you know what? If you're ready to advance like that, strap it on and get ready to go, because here we go. You guys, I love it. I love everything you brought today. Yeah, I wish I could talk to you for another hour, because you're both just fascinating individuals, and I love your stories. So thank you for coming on, for giving everything you always give to the podcasting community, but also for giving it to our listeners today. You gave them a very different perspective, a different outlook than what they get in their regular lives and what they get on their social media feeds. And I'm grateful for that. Thank you for doing that.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
for
Rory,
having
for
us,
having
brother.
us. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. This is awesome. I appreciate it, and thank you for creating a psychologically safe space for us to express ourselves. It was awesome. We will come back anytime. Thank you so much. And Kev, I'll leave you the last word because yeah,
Man, I always say it takes two to tango. In this case, it takes three to tango. So just to tag on to what Alan said, as a host, one of the most important things you can do is create psychological safety. Because sometimes the reason the guest isn't going as deep as you want is because you haven't allowed them to. And you did a wonderful job of allowing us to be ourselves today, Rory. So that comes back to you.
Thank you guys. I
You're very
appreciate
welcome.
that very much. You guys know I value you a lot, and I appreciate you being on.
thank you.
All right, folks, that's been another absolutely awesome episode of the Podcaster Nation. Why do we get fabulous people like this, these powerful men to come on here and give these fantastic messages? Because this is the podcast. It's about podcasters, it's for podcasters, and it's done by podcasters. And we proved yet again today that this is the place where the rising tide truly raises all ships. So keep sailing.